the recording, but I'm excited to talk about this retreat recap with you guys. It was seriously, I don't open my heart or my mind or my, you know, I don't really like open myself up to receiving information from people trying to teach me very easily, because I want to protect myself. I want to protect everybody that joins me in this business. And so I don't just like listen to random people that share information. I have to digest it, decide if it's important, if it's valuable, if it makes sense, if I want to receive it, if it's for me. And this guy that put on this retreat for Aaron Clark, instantly I felt it. This guy is so genuine. He had the most amazing leaders, and I felt so open to receive messages all Friday and all Saturday from him. And I'm still ready to continue on and take this to the next level, because I feel like some of the stuff I learned, I just thought is so applicable, and I just thought would be so amazing for everybody to hear. And you'll be able to take this as like your business legacy and pass it on to people, because you're about, the last part of this, you guys are going to see something so cool that I don't know if Tabitha's on or not. Yeah, she is, but I'll probably be able to share her example if she allows me. I'll wait till she approves it, but at the very end, we'll kind of talk about things. And I want you to have a paper and pen handy if possible, because at one point I am going to ask you, and I want you to kind of think about it throughout the Zoom. I want to ask you what your biggest, what's your holdup? What's the story you're telling yourself? What fear do you have in this business? Okay. And then after that, we can do personal. Sometimes people will say weight or exercise or whatever, but this I want to be strictly business. Okay. So I want to know, what fear do you have in your business that's holding you back? And that's going to be your limiting belief we'll talk about later. Okay. Thanks, Tab. But I want you to kind of be thinking about it right now. Okay. Just for when we get to that part, so we're totally ready for it. All right, let me share my screen. And let's get started. So this is the retreat recap that I really am excited to share with you guys. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this mindset and what happens with new distributors and new marketing executives, or just kind of in any industry in sales, it seems to be now. It's funny because he started talking about this and I was like, oh my gosh, as a teacher, we learned this, that there was 4 quadrants, and the quadrants were consciously or unconsciously incompetent, consciously incompetent, unconsciously competent, and consciously competent. And you wanted to take yourself from unconsciously incompetent all the way to consciously competent, which so many crazy words, I get it, but basically what happens is when people start a business, they kind of start in the unconsciously incompetent quadrant, because you don't really know a lot. You just kind of do it. You're not really sure if you're messing up, and you just don't really know. Okay. And so what happens is, a lot of time in the industry, it starts there. And what happens with people is they all of a sudden get to the consciously incompetent quadrant. And so this unconsciously quadrant means that all of a sudden they're conscious, they're aware that they don't know what they're doing. And now they realize they have work to do. And a lot of times, this is where people will quit. And so a lot of times it's where all of a sudden people will go, shoot, I actually need to do work. And it starts to feel really overwhelming. And that's a lot of times where we lose people in this business. And I thought, if we can be aware of these quadrants, we want to take people, because then sometimes what happens is you're unconsciously competent after that. You start getting better, but you don't know why. Maybe you're a strong leader, but you're not sure why. You're like, I don't know why, but I just rock. Like, I'm just really good, but I'm not sure why. That's an okay place to be. It's not going to hinder you. The consciously incompetent is probably, I feel like, the most dangerous quadrant to be in, because you know you suck. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't think I'm good, but I don't know why. Like, that one's the hardest place to be in, because if you're unconsciously incompetent, you don't really know you suck. So you're just kind of like doing whatever, right? At least you don't know it. I feel like your mindset plays a big part in it. But a lot of times, if we can get people to that consciously competent where they're like, I know I'm good, and I can explain to you exactly why, and I know exactly what to do, and these systems, it's kind of where we want to get to people, but I want you to be aware that a lot of times when you have people quit, it does have to do a little bit with the fact that now they're understanding that they don't know it all and they don't know how to get there. And so if you can catch this a little bit early on and just kind of talk to people, and even as you're getting new people in, just like, okay, here's the deal. It's going to be overwhelming and scary, but we're going to walk through that. You might even get to a spot where you're like, dang, I had that vision. My heart felt good about this, but like, I don't think I'm worthy enough to get there. That's where they tend to quit. And that's where I want to take you through this, because I want to change the game on this quadrant with you guys. So if you look at it, it takes 10,000 hours they have studied to master a craft. So you see people quit after 1 month. You see people quit after 1 year. Technically, working a 40-hour work week for 5 years would get you that 10,000 hours. So it takes a lot of time to get to that. It's going to take a lot of reading, a lot of work. And sometimes you don't see it pay off right away. But then like a year later, how many of you even have been in this for even just a few months, 4 or 5 months, and you've seen some growth already? Imagine a year, imagine 2 years. I have been in the industry closer to 15. So some things I really feel like I've mastered more, but then, you know, you're always kind of learning. So 10,000 hours to master something. I mean, you can apply this to anything in life. If you want to become the most amazing volleyball player, you better get ready to put in 10,000 hours. All right, this one was really cool. This part of the, and I want you guys to like jump in at any time if you want something to say, or you're like, yes, this clicks, or I totally get that, and I hear you with that, and I've experienced this or that kind of thing too. So I can't, for some reason, see everyone. I only get to see, well, Courtney, you're in my little box where I get to see someone right now. So I can't actually see everyone in the Zoom, so I can't see the faces right now while I do this Zoom. So jump in on the chat, jump in to talk any given moment, okay? This I thought was really cool because we're all women. Hey, Michelle, I'm so glad you're on. We all have that monthly cycle. And this I thought was really neat because a lot of times I feel like we can play victim in the cycle, and we can go, you know, I just don't feel like it. I'm so overtired and I'm just going to eat today and I'm just not doing anything, or I'm just so grouchy, or I'm just, it's my hormones and everything is just, you know, play that victim role with it in a sense. So I find that, oh, hey Mel, I find that we can actually turn that, and this was kind of the coolest thing, our cycle, to be an advantage in our business. And here's how. Phase 1 is kind of like day 1 to 5. The interesting thing about this is that hormones are at their lowest. So your intuition is up, reflection is up, and your brain is really good at communicating back and forth with both sides. So creative, logical, everything is balanced within the brain. And so the communication is super strong. And so when you I guess phase 1 to 5 would be like during your period, like when you're actually having your period. It's very interesting that this is going to happen. So I don't know, guys, we got to start syncing our cycles apparently, because we're all going to be all over the place. We'll all be like, I'm ready to communicate. I'm on my period. Someone might be like, I'm ovulating. I'm not even ready to talk to you. But, you know, we're going to have some fun with this, because we are going to have those times now you can go, why did I just really feel like this is important to me? You might go, oh, well, I'm on my period. I'm probably heightened. My intuition is probably correct. You know, you're going to be able to read yourself a little bit better. And I just think anything that empowers you as a woman and using anything to your advantage is just going to help you. Rachel's unlearning bad habits and moving forward. Yes. And I'm just still really excited for the last part of this, because it's just a lot of fun. So phase 2, 6 to 12. So this is kind of your Wonder Woman phase. You learn faster. You're super creative. You can plan new projects here. And I actually feel like this because there's times of the month, and I've never correlated at all, which kind of shocks me, but there are so many times of the month I'm like, let's do this. I'm going to do this Zoom. I'm going to have that. I'm going to organize this for the team. I'm going to do a giveaway. Let's do it. You know, and I I have so many more projects I want to plan and do. So I can see how this is like a Wonder Woman phase. You're feeling pretty powerful. And during this time is when you should plan your team activities and things like that. And again, if your cycle is like a 32-day or something, then obviously every day shifts just a couple of days. So phase 3 is 13 to 18, and it's heightened communication, okay? So high. Collaboration, right? This would be closer to like ovulation time, right? Of course, you probably want to communicate with your husband a little more during this time. You work through challenges, you're optimistic and outgoing, and I just think you're on more of a high, and it makes sense because I agree. I totally agree with this. Like, it is just so much more going on. So this would be a great time for collaboration. And it's so funny because that's where I'm like, we need to sync up, ladies, because if we want to collab and have all this communication, we got to be on the same page, right? It's funny because me and Jess were just saying the other day, I think our cycles are syncing up. You know, they say if you hang out with someone so much, it does. Like me and my roommate always ended up on the same cycle, but I'm like, we aren't even near each other, but Voxer apparently has that ability to sync us up because we talk all day, every day. So optimistic and outgoing, and that's your time to reach out to, I would say this would be more of a time and really plan to do lots of follow-ups, lots of reaching out to people that had said they were interested, or be brave enough to reach out to somebody new at this time, because this is when you're just like outgoing and people are going to be attracted to you a little bit easier, I think. And so again, this is just so cool. Oh, Michelle knew about this. That is so neat. Just noticing all these cycles. Yes. Phase 4 is day 19 to 28. So I'm like, oh, that's a long one, right? But this one's cool because it says increased progesterone, increased productivity, increased attention to detail. So like, oh my gosh, I was telling Michelle or Megan say like, oh, I'm the worst with details. This is when I should be like setting my meeting with Travis, like I was saying to you, Megan, about learning some details about like leadership points and how that all works and banking them and stuff like that. So I will book my appointment with him based on my period. I think at this point, can you imagine that? I'm like, hey Travis, I'm just going to start my period. Can I just like have a one-on-one with you? Because I need it. That's what I'm going to like learn, these details. You would die. Oh my God, they'd probably kick me out of the company. So task and goal oriented. Now here's the thing, it says calmest. I'm like, I remember on the Zoom there, this lady's talking about this and I'm like, don't believe you on this one. Just gonna say I'm a bitchiest. So I'm about to start my period and I've been like, rah, rah. I'm like, nah, I'm not calmest, to tell you that much. So I imagine there's a little room to wiggle, but then I also thought about it and I thought, you know what is very interesting though? I am about to, like, too much info, and we're not throwing this on Facebook Live or anything, but I'm about to start my period, and with what got thrown at me last night, I do have to say, when you hone in to your outside of your ego, let's say, and you hone in on your internal feelings, I actually did find myself the calmest, because what got said to me from some, you know, I should have been a bit more eruptive about it. So I can actually see that. I was like, oh, you know what, that is very interesting. But then, you know what, you can take this into your life. And I thought, you know, I have to talk to my friend about what happened, but I'm probably going to wait a week or two, to be honest with you, until my communication is heightened and I'm in a little bit more of that zone. So I like how you can like really play this out in your entire life. Like, even if you needed to talk to your spouse about something, maybe you want to wait till that time when you have a little bit of more of those hormones on your side for the calmness, or for the understanding, or things like that. So I just think that you can apply this to anything in life, and I thought they were really cool stats. Another thing he talked to about was moving, breathing, and intentions, his MBI. And this was interesting because some of it gives me anxiety, because he said when you wake up in the morning, don't go on your phone. I was like, oh, that's no, right? Like Courtney's eyes just went like completely bugged. Like, I know she's listening now, because it was like, no phone? What are you talking about? I mean, that's crazy. I know. And maybe it's for 2 hours, he says, yeah, but like, if we like wake up at 10, like I'm not getting my phone till noon, like that sounds crazy. Like we're on COVID mode right now. We're all sleeping in. So I get it if you get up at 5 or 6, you know, a couple hours to yourself, but you know, he's thinking like moving, breathing, intention. So what you do is you get up and move, you exercise. And if you guys know Robin Sharma, his 5 a.m. club, like he talks about this too, and journaling, and there's a lot of science behind it. I just haven't been able to bring myself to do that. I don't know if it's a kid having kids, and you just like, you know, they're all sleeping. It's like, oh, I kind of just want to enjoy this. So you do what works for you. One day it might work for me, but I do understand moving. I actually like to work out first thing in the morning before I even eat. That is my preference. I just haven't really been, yeah, Jessica's does the 5 to I can never say that word, Tibetan rites. But I know that's like with the movement, there's 5 movements you do. And, you know, it's great to do that. And I feel my body craving some like yoga movement in the morning now. So I think I'm gonna start doing that, where I just get up and maybe do like a whole sequence of poses and things like that. So I get it. I feel like I get up and have to read the word, then send out my BDA messages first thing in the morning to feel productive. And I think you just gotta end up doing what's right for you, end of the day. Like, you know, it really comes down to it. But I really do feel like breathing, getting in air, getting your lungs, getting everything filled up with good oxygen is good. And I do feel like setting your intentions is a great idea. I think if you start to feel like you're a little bit out of it, like I know a lot of us, here's one thing I've noticed. I've noticed people that are very urgent are very successful in this. It's just been a thing I've noticed over the 10 to 15 years. People that I see writing back right away, people that I see that are on it, are just tend to be very successful. It's just one of those things. And they move really quickly within the business. So I get it. I get it. I have that urgency in my bones too, to see that flag on my phone and deal with it now, because it gives me anxiety to let them sit there and pile up. So, you know, making your bed, exactly. Make your bed, and that is part of his thing too. He says, move and make your bed. Like that's part of his moving part. And it's a really nice thing to do. And some days I just literally pull my sheets up and I put the pillows on. And some days I make it really nice. It just feels really good to have it like clean to the top. So I get it. But this is something that if you feel like you're really out of whack and maybe you're a slave to your phone maybe too much or something, then try this. And I mean, don't try to if you like sleep until 11 a.m. because I don't think that's the intention of it. I think it's like you're a wake up at 5, 6 a.m. person, and then, you know, you don't do anything until 8 a.m. Like then that makes sense because everybody's day starts at 8 a.m. I'm not going to be a slave to my phone while everybody's sleeping. So I get that, but use what works for you. Okay, where's my mouse? Okay, this is the coolest part that I'm so excited to share. I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen. And this is truly going to be something that's going to change you. Because I'll tell you, I've done this now a couple times with different people, and it has like, I have felt the mood lift. If you can come on your video, I want you to, because it's really important. So I want you to think of a limiting belief that you have, okay? And this is where I would love for it to be a little bit more interactive and people to jump on and say something and have more people on camera. Okay, hold on. Now I can see more cameras. Yay. Okay, okay. Now my thing's working. Okay, so 60. Okay, that's good. I want you to jump on and if somebody wants to work through this as an example with me too, that's fine. That would be nice and easy to do. And I want somebody to tell me their limiting belief about themselves in this business. And if not, me and Tab could always just go together and work on this one to kind of make the, okay, Michelle. Okay. I'll ask you to unmute. Oops, I don't know if that worked. Okay, there. Hey, okay, so Michelle, let's work on this one together and everyone will kind of get an idea. Worthy, okay, good. Cannot attract builders. You know what? That seems to be one of the most common ones I'm hearing. Is attracting builders. So, all right, Michelle, let's do this. Tell me your limiting belief that you have about yourself with business.
Okay, I'll probably cry because it's been an emotional day. Like I feel like I'm not deserving of leading others. Like I don't feel like I'm a good leader, which is crazy because I know like I know how to have conversations with people, and like I feel like I'm pretty coachable, so I feel like I can help to coach others because I've had so many coaching sessions, you know what I mean? So I kind of understand how it goes. But when it comes down to it, I just feel like I'm not a good enough leader, and that I'm like not deserving of being one. Like it's not. And I know, and this is what's the hardest part, is like I know how ridiculous that is because of all the coaching and training that I've done over like the 8 years that I've been in direct sales and now doing this. Like I know that sounds ridiculous.
No. Raise your hand if this was kind of something you were like, dang, that was on my paper too. Because I see it coming up in the chat. So, okay, let's narrow it down a bit. So you don't feel deserving to have that leadership title, or is it that you won't attract leaders? I want to be really specific on
like so it's more of like not attracting leaders, because I know I can attract like shoppers and people to love the product, and like wholeheartedly I know that. But it's like attracting the people that are willing and wanting to like share it with others, and to also share like the vision to make a difference in like other people's lives, but also like their own life, that to teach other people that they're actually like entitled to, you know, make a good income if that's what they want to do, if that makes sense. Sorry, my kids.
Okay. So would it be
okay, then let me get your iPad.
You believe, I believe I can't attract leaders. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like if we were to put it in a nutshell, yeah. I believe I can't attract leaders. Okay, yeah. So if you believe that you can't attract leaders, then the next arrow down that I want you guys to look at is what emotions come up within you. And I'm just gonna, I have to move my screen a bit just to go to the next one here again. But what emotions come up within you with that belief?
Like failure, being a failure, not good enough. Sadness.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm writing it down as I'm thinking about it.
Nope, that's good. This is like a working session. This is exactly what we're supposed to do. So discouragement, I see people saying stress, make sure you're writing those down. Anxiety, yeah, you know, feel like a failure, like, man, I'm having to attract leaders, like I'm not gonna be able to do this, right? So I believe I can't attract leaders. It makes me feel not good, sad, failure. All right, the next thing is then what action steps do you take because of those feelings? What do you do when you feel those types of emotions?
So for me, this is probably why I'm so driven to like send my messages and be on top of like getting put together. Feel like that, like not feel like that, is to keep like finding new people, as corny as it sounds, to keep having those conversations, because then there's like, maybe when I'm doing those, I might not find the leader, but I might find somebody that's a shopper that one day may become a leader. But I just feel like I could make it happen so much faster if I didn't have these ideas in the back of my mind, like those leaders just aren't coming to me. And I've been practicing with saying like out loud, you know, like you had shared that one board before, like I am a leader magnet, and I am attracting people that I can learn from and will teach me and help to grow me into a better person that I want to be. Like I'm doing all of that, but I know it takes so much time to retrain your brain.
Well, when you have that emotion though, you're going to have an action that results from that emotion. Like something about it is going to make you do something in your messages that will still not attract somebody. Or like a lot of people, like I saw Colleen says, I feel like I want to quit. I don't feel like I want to do this. I feel like I'm not going to, like they might not work as much because, you know, as much or as well as they should, or do things.
I'm on this. sorry. My husband had his assistant screw up a commission, so he's losing 5%.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's been a day.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, it does.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. But when we have this emotion, like I feel not good enough, I feel like a failure, it's going to limit us in some kind of action. And what action is that limiting you in? A lot of people, it's going to be, I just won't work today, or I just won't do it. I get that you're saying you still will, but there's some kind of action that's still coming from those feelings that's not a positive action.
It's probably like putting off the new approaches until the next day.
Putting off an approach, let's just say.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, like if I'm thinking a negative thought, like I would just retreat, like I feel it in my stomach, I just don't feel good, and then I would retreat a little bit. Even though if like, yeah, the next day you could bounce back and really work, it will still hinder me for some period of time.
Yeah. Like the feeling in the gut is there.
Yeah. And it makes it harder, and the energy is just not right when you're reaching out. You could reach out to 700 people that day, and the energy and something in the way it gets translated will just be off, right?
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. It'll put it off for some point of time until it drives you, but then again, it's still part of this whole negative limiting belief that is surrounded. So then if you are put it off and you don't feel good enough, then what's the result? You don't find leaders, right?
Yeah.
So if you take a look, I'm just writing this down too. If you take a look at this, limiting belief becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy, because all of it makes a circle back to that limiting belief, and it just continues to be this negative circle. So the limiting belief brings on an emotion, okay? That emotion brings on an action. This is all usually in the negative. That action brings in the result that tends to be exactly why your limiting belief is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. So here's the cool thing. I feel heavy. I feel discouraged. I just don't even like hearing this. It's just like sad. It's all of the above, because take a look. And I want you to have this written down, because this is going to be so important to teach your people, because now you have a tool in your pocket to mentor people. So when you do get them, you guys have a way to help them turn it. So we're going to flip it, and we're going to now start at the bottom. We're going to make an affirmation for you, Michelle. And I want you to tell me now, what's the result you want? If nothing could stand in your way, no holds bar, what is the ultimate thing that you want, since you want to be attracting these leaders? What is it that you want? How many, or specifics?
Like in my business?
Yeah.
I had it, I don't even know if this is the book I had it written down in. So there was one Monday Mindset recording that Genevieve had done, where it was like the breakdown of the numbers to get to senior director. So my goal is to hit that by the end of January 2021, which you and I have talked about before. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a big goal. Yeah, it's not in this book. It's in a different one. I don't even know where it is, but I did write it down. I think it was like around 20 people per month or something I would have to bring in, like personally, because I was trying to break it down in a way where it's like I'm not having to rely so much on like other people, mm-hmm. Which I know is like a crazy number.
Yeah, it's tiring.
But when I think about what I did with Unique, like when I look at how many different people I would connect with to make a sale, and then how many people in a month I would bring into the company, I kind of combine it all as one, because I feel like here it's just one thing to focus on, which I find like to be such a relief. So when I think about all of those new connections and everything else, like I know that it is possible for me to do that.
Okay, so
like in my gut, I feel like I can.
Oh yeah. So
and I also have like a large network that's I've already built over the years. So like if I was coming in and only had 100 Facebook friends, I know that would not be realistic by any stretch of the imagination, because I would burn out in like a week.
Well, I want to take this back and relate it to your limiting belief, which is not developing leaders, because you will feel so much better when you have leaders doing this with you. So what about, it takes 5, right, to go senior. So what about attracting 5? Something about what is the result you want then? You want obviously to attract leaders. You can be specific with a number. You can just say, I want to attract leaders, because your belief is that you can't attract leaders. So we need to talk about, what do you want? Because yeah, you can say senior and do it all myself, but like your limiting belief is about attracting leaders and you want to attract leaders. So what is the result you want? You want to attract leaders. Is that fair enough to say?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to attract leaders. You can be specific and write 5 if you want for now, 10, like I know Tabitha said 50. Like she was just like, I have this number, I want to help 50. And so I'll leave that blank. I want to attract leaders, because that's fair enough with what you said your limiting belief is. Now we take that, and what kind of action do you have to take to attract leaders?
I have to approach people. I have to keep like growing my mind to have like that positive strength from within, so that when I am doing those approaches because now I voice memo, because it's just far more effective. I've just kind of learned what works for me. And like, if I'm just like, hey, blah, 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 I know it's not going to work. So I try to get into the mind frame before I send the message, that I can actually have that good energy going through.
And then the other thing with that now is, what emotion would that make you feel by, getting and attracting these leaders? What would it do?
It would make me feel like amazing and like excited, because then I know too that they're going to have those feelings of feeling like that achievement and that excitement, and it's contagious. And it's so much more fun when you have other people that you are building with.
Yeah.
Because then you can get like all of these incredible ideas that you never even thought of either. You know what I mean? So yeah, like that I find to be really exciting and interesting.
Okay, no, I love that. Contagious, like that's word of the day. I love it. It's contagious. And that's the exact thing, is that I get excited coming on here no matter what was happening in my life, because I know the energy is going to be so contagious. So I love that word. Now then, basically how that's going to make you feel, then we can go ahead and we can come up with a new belief with this. So what would you believe about yourself if you started bringing in leaders and it was really growing? What would be that belief that you believe about yourself?
That I am a leader magnet.
Right? That leaders are excited to learn from you. They want to learn from you. Like, they're lucky to have Michelle be their leader, right? Oh, I think she froze. Did she freeze for you guys? Over there. Like, what would you want someone to say about you if you had to visualize somebody was saying something about Michelle, and it was just like, they were just like, that's Michelle over there. Can you believe it? Like, she just gets the best leaders. Like, like what kind of thing, what would that new belief look like for you then?
Probably she helped me change my life.
Michelle can help people change their lives. Okay, I'm just writing these down. I love that too. That's powerful. That's powerful. And so now when we flip this and we turn this into a new affirmation, okay, I want you to hear what we had before. We had, I can't attract leaders. I'm not good enough. I'm sad about it. I'm a failure. I'm going to be putting it off because I can't do it, and I just don't find leaders. And I want you to, I'm going to read it backwards, and we can adjust this to what you want, but I'm just going to read it backwards to what we have that we've flipped. Michelle can help people change their lives. It makes her feel amazing, excited. She has a contagious attitude and energy. She enrolls more people because of it. She reaches out to people, and she feels good, and she's also growing her mind. She wants to attract multiple leaders. She's going to attract multiple leaders. Now, I want this in yours. So if I was you, I'd say, I can help people change their lives. I feel amazing, excited. I have contagious energy with it. I enroll more people and I approach more people, and I'm constantly growing my mind. I'm going to attract 50 leaders. Like, look at the difference that was. Like, if that isn't blowing your mind right now, I don't know what is. Because I'm going to tell you, this is why I'm going to share Tabitha's, because hers was very similar, and you might pick up a couple things that you want to add to yours. Tabitha said she doesn't feel like she has credibility within this. It makes her feel sad, kind of lonely, doesn't really know where she's going to fit in with it. She had a fear of reaching out then because of it, because if she's going to attract people in while she's not feeling worthy, how is she going to give herself to people to grow? And therefore, there's no response from people when she messages them. And then she just doesn't have leaders as the result. And that felt like so sad and so heavy. So we turned it around and said, okay, well, what do you want? What do you want your result to be? She said, I want 50 leaders. I want 50 directors on, personally. I said, okay, so what action are you going to take? I'm going to enroll more people. Okay, that's cool. What emotion does that give you when you enroll more people? Excitement, pride, joy, and hope. I said, okay, awesome. That's a great emotion. Now, what's your new belief then? Well, if all these three things happened, I would believe that people can trust me to help them, and I can help people believe in themselves. I thought, okay, now let's turn that into your affirmation. So then her affirmation became, or do you want to read your affirmation out loud, Tabitha? Yeah, she put it on her phone so she can see it daily. I'll let you kind of read it.
Because they're fine. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Sure, I can.
Okay.
Okay, it is, people can trust me to help them believe in themselves. I am an incredible leader. Knowing that gives me excitement, pride, joy, and hope for the future. Because of this, I enroll more people and develop 50 directors.
Like, it literally brings me to tears, you guys. Honestly.
Me too.
That's so beautiful. And like reading Michelle's out loud, like I just feel like it just gives people hope to remember that you can feel those negative things, but in a split second, we can flip it, We can totally flip it, and it can be the exact opposite and give you the results you want. Now I'm going to share, like, about 10 years ago, I started doing affirmations on my mirror because I just was struggling in some different things in life. I was sharing with Tabitha that I seeked other people's approval with everything. This wasn't business related, it's just in life. I just wanted approval from anyone, everyone. I felt I had to be perfect. I know where it all stems from, but I felt like I had to be perfect for every teacher, every coach, every parent, every friend's parent. Literally anyone I came across, I felt like I had to be the perfect person. And it got really exhausting, especially I really uncovered it when I came in the MLM world because I wanted to be the perfect person for the company then. And it just didn't work out that way, obviously. But I decided that because my stuff stemmed from approval, I wrote on my mirror on a little nice piece of paper, I put, I approve of myself. And I said that to myself every single day for probably 2 years till all of a sudden I realized I had made so many changes over 2 years. I approved of myself, and if anybody else didn't, it didn't matter anymore. Somebody could slander me online. Somebody could say something to my face, and it didn't matter because I approved, and I can take things in and decide if I want to accept them or not, and then I'll deal with it based off of that. And so it really got me into a good place. And so I know that putting your affirmation on your mirror will absolutely change your life because I have completely seen that happen within myself and multiple people. Now, you want anything to change in your life? It could be anything from a relationship, with a friendship, with your kids, with anything. you can use this, because now you just have to say what results you want, what actions, emotions, your new belief, and you've created yourself a brand new affirmation that can change anything you want in your life. Good, stop sharing. So it's honestly just unbelievably powerful. I hope that you guys got a lot out of this. I just thought that I just kind of took the pieces that I thought were my favorite. We did a lot about, we talked about fasting, which I do a lot of as well. We talked about plant-based diets, taking care of your body, getting good water in, grounding yourself with nature, being with earth. I really loved it because I'm a really heavy mix of like, yes, I pray to God and I'll lay in bed and like talk to him and be grateful for things I got, but I'm very connected to the universe too. It's like, I'm just a complete mix of it. And I love just connecting to the earth, putting out intentions, getting energy, believing in karma, and like angels, angel numbers, card readings, psychics. I don't know why. I just want to believe what I want to believe in, and that's it. So I'm very mixed between the two. I don't like heavy religious based meetings, and I can do heavy universal for some reason. It's just me. I'm sorry. It's just me. But this guy, they're Australian. I feel like Australians are really like Canadians and a lot too. And they're just very, it was very universal based, and I loved it. It was really cool. Just talk about connecting with everything again. Ego, brain, how to kind of get out of them and stuff. But I felt like these were really the strongest points that I wanted to share with it all, that really like resonated with me. And so I really hope that you guys got something out of this. And now if anybody didn't get their flip and they couldn't come up with an affirmation, I would love if we shared them in the director page with each other. So people, because I feel like, just like I said, Tabitha's brings me to tears. Michelle's brings me to tears. So I just think it'd be really powerful to read each other's too. So if you can come up with yours and you want to share it, please. If you want it personal, I'm okay with that. And if you're struggling and you don't know how to come up with yours after that, and you're still just kind of needing an outside perspective,
I'm on something.
Let me know, and I can definitely help you with that too. So I'm good with being able to come up with that with you guys as well. But this is a fun little project now that you have it written down. Just remember, everything goes in order on those beliefs. Like step 1 can only lead to step 2. It doesn't ever jump to step 3, like when you're going over it with your team. But come up with it. It feels really powerful to know their limiting belief, and that you help them flip that into something really powerful as well. And I just think having this tool in your back pocket right now is also very important, because a lot of our beliefs, as we're thrown into director, into now a leadership role, and we want to be leaders, sometimes we go, well, I won't know how to lead. But you will, because all you're going to have to do is help them with posting, and now you have a tool for mindset. I think before we didn't have a tool for it, so we just felt like, I've got to give all my energy. I am scared to. I don't know what to say to them. I don't want to do it. I'm not equipped to help them. But it doesn't matter anymore, because you have the tool to help them. And so that was actually mine to share with you. I said that like my limiting belief is that I'm going to burn myself out, because I give so much energy to people that it scares me that I'll give all this energy and then they're going to quit on me, and I'm going to feel like a waste of time, and I'm going to be exhausted, and because I've just given everything. So I flip mine into that I love to help them. It gives me, it exhilarates me, and the flipping it already has made me feel so lighter, because I love doing Zooms. I love putting together like presentations and PowerPoints and helping. So it does. It gives me energy, and it really excites me for where we are headed with this, because I lost this part of me for 3 years, and so it's exciting to bring it back and have my own affirmation to work with that. So weight lifted. I felt that weight lift yesterday, Tab. That was the best Zoom. That was so fun. Yeah. So keep working on it. If you feel like it's not quite your affirmation yet, you'll know when it's it. It will feel powerful, and share it, because I want to know. And if I read it and I'm like, I'll call you on, I'll be like, no, you just made that up to post it. That's not it. I'll tell you. You know that. We'll keep you accountable. All right, does anybody have anything they want to say?